Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I hope you're all fine and dandy as usual. Guys, before we start, quick message about replays. I've had a lot of comments and messages coming in my way regarding them. Essentially, winter, Christmas time, it's a busy time of year for FAF. A lot of games get played, not a lot of sun outside, people indoors playing video games in excessive numbers, so a lot of replays got sent in to me and I wasn't here, so a large backlog piled up behind me. I'm doing my best to work through them ASAP, but it's a slow process. I do tend to stop every time I find a cast that or a replay that is castable, and then just pick it up where I left off the next time. So I am working through it, guys. I must have a lot of newer subscribers sending in replays as well, because I'm also getting a lot of messages coming in from people asking me if they have seen, if I've seen their replay and if I like it, if I'm going to cast it. Well, it's very simple, guys. If you see it on the channel, I've decided to cast it. If you don't, I'm afraid not. I do my absolute best to watch every single replay that gets sent in. Very occasionally I concede one or two slips through the gaps. I take replays in from lots of different areas, forums, Facebook, you know, PM on FAF, all these different places, YouTube mail. Very occasionally they slip through, but if you ask me about it, I'm probably not going to remember your replay if I haven't decided to cast it. You'll say, hey, have you watched my replay, Guile? I say, well, it doesn't help me, I don't know. I said, oh, it was an ISIS. Yes, still doesn't help me. It was an Average Joe's game. Still doesn't help me. I get tons of those. There was an Ithota in it. Dude, I watched these things on +10. Give me a break. So just trust my judgment as best you can, and please don't think that it's a rude snub if I don't respond to you, because there'd be no time for anything else if I did, believe me. But please don't stop sending in replays, because I am thankful for each and every one I get sent. Anyway, that's enough of all that. Let's get on with today's game. Last game was a surprisingly short one. Change of pace this time. Thought we'd go for a pro-level team game. Exciting stuff, and it's going to be a custom 5v5 on Wonder 5v5 version 3. Very important, mustn't forget the version 3 there. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready, so let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. And it always makes me happy when the user interface agrees with where the teams should be. Indeed, this is Team 1 up here at the top left, and this is Team 2 down here at the bottom right, correctly synced up with what we're being told up here. Let's take a look at our players. Up here at the top left, rearguard air position for Team 1. It's Man of Action, curiously going Cybrin. Don't often see an awful lot of that from an air player. Anyway, he's going Cyanide Scion, opening first land. To his right over here, team member number 2 for Team 1. It's Brinster, also going Cybrin in Pontiff White, opening first land. Next up, let's see if I get the pronunciation right on this. It's Daishu Kaiki, or Daishu. I shall be calling him her Daishu for the duration. And he, she, I'm going to be calling him he, is going first land Aeon in Baby Blue. Next up down here, it's OMFG Space Lasers, or as we know him best as Soviet Pride, because he just loves to change his name and force me to look things up in the username utilities. Thank you very much for that. And he's going UEF in Spetsnaz Green, opening first land. Sensible decision for him. And last but not least down here, we have my good friend Jolly, who is going Seraphim in Combat Green, opening first land. So all the races represented there for Team 1. Let's take a look at Team 2 as the first units are moving forward from this very side of the map. K240, now I've seen a bit of this guy kicking about already, playing air position. He's 1500. I'm not sure if he's changed his name. I haven't looked his up, I must confess, but he seems to know what he's doing. Anyway, he's going Mellow Yellow Aeon, very sensible, opening first land. To his left over here, we have Aura in Volvo Beige, and he is going Seraphim, opening first land, and then going, well, second air or second land, and then third air, something like that. Next up, in Electric Blue, it's Heaven. He's gone Cybrin, opening first land. And next to him, none other than my good friend Zoc. And we'll see if he gets bum-rushed again like he did in the previous team game. Very exciting stuff. Anyway, he's there in Halib Orange. His very atypical colour, opening first and second land. And last but not least for Team 2, we have Kinky Priest in Vivacious Violet. How very apt. Opening first land, going Aeon. So there we are. Game quality 89%, so it's pretty good balance. And it's all pros with the exception of one Joe up here. We've got Brinster. Now he's 1200, and he's facing off down here against Kinky Priest, who, if I can find him quickly, is 1500. So that's not too bad. But what is pretty scary down here is Aura He's 1400, but he's facing off against Jolly, who's 2000. That is quite a disparity, so that could be a tough left flank hold there for Team 2. Have got the first couple of harassing units coming in now around the edge there from Kinky Priest. We've got a Flare and a Spirit, the Scout there. Managed to get in around the back of Brinster, who's going to lose that rear mechs, but he's now dispatching a Mantis to deal with this threat. And Zoc manages to get a couple of units in the back there, a Lab and a Scout Hunter there, but neither of them are going to get anything done because Man of Action is in the immediate locale with that ACU. Going to blap those bad boys right down, right off the face of the map. So early game mass leaders seem to be Man of Action. They seem to be Soviet Pride, Jolly, and Zoc is reclaiming at the moment, so that's not accurate, but they seem to be the leaders for the moment. Heaven getting right in there with this ACU, moving forward and picking up a lot of those rocks in the crater. Don't forget your Titan Rex sitting right up here at the front. Need to get your hands on some of that mass before someone else scoops it, although he does have a Medusa in the area, so he can take care of any NGs coming that way. No other ACUs in the immediate vicinity. Closest one to it's actually Zoc down here, still working on a land factory. One engineer coming in though now from Brinster. Where's he going with that? Manual reclaim coming straight in there to grab his T3 wreck on the other side of things, a little further back. It's a lot of very well deserved mass right there, getting in there early before anybody else. Soviet Pride harassing Heaven's ACU with one Scout and one Striker. Not going to do a huge amount of damage there. Heaven deals with that in good time and good order. Scout planes out now for both teams. Looks like Team 1 doing a bit of a base check over the top of Team 2. Man of Action getting in all the intel as early as possible. Nice little bit of hover bombing going on there from Jolly. Doesn't manage to take out the P-gens he was working on with the bomber until, of course, that bomber gets shot down and the air crash is enough to kill off one of the P-gens. Certainly not anything that's going to cause any major problems for Aura, who still has power to spare at this very moment in time. Forces up front for Jolly, gaining number, and he's got that horrible naming mod. And there's a hotkey to turn that crap off, but I cannot for the life of me remember how to do it. Kinky Priest going to get an upgrade on his comm over here to the right. Brinster massing forces a little bit further back. It's a shame. There's an opportunity there to get a cancel on that commander potentially, although where is Zoc's ACU? Nowhere to be seen. There it is. He's right down here. He's on an upgrade as well, so he's immobile for the immediate future. Heaven recognizing the potential threat for Kinky Priest being static that far forward. He's going to move some of his troops into the gap to protect, but there really is no threat at the moment coming from Team 1. Indeed, Brinster is going to stand at the edge of the crater and just eat a whole load of Aurora fire. Nice little bit of micro from Kinky Priest, trying to withdraw those guys back a bit and try to dodge some of that incoming fire. Misses one or two shots there, keeps an Aurora alive. But in comes some T1 bombers now from Brinster. That's going to pick up 3 or so T1 units. In comes another one. Going to grab another Aurora, and they're going to push straight on to the main base now. 3 units of build capacity go up in that bombing run. Interceptors dispatched by K240, trying to guard his most northerly teammate from any more air attacks. Another one coming in now, going after the power storage, but that won't be enough to kill it off. 200 hit points remain on that, and the bomber is destroyed. Once again, normality returns to the field. Zoc completes T2 upgrade on his commander there, and would you look at it, Kinky Priest went for T2 engineering suite on his comm as well, and already has an Oblivion turret in place, which is harassing Brinster's forward position. Taking a look on this side of the field, got a little bit of a run by from Aura, looking to take the initiative against Jolly. All T1, nothing too scary, although there's quite a lot of THAMs on the field there. Objective, no doubt, to pick off some of these exposed mass points around the edge. Jolly has got T2 Engineering Suite on his comm, and already one T2 point defense in place, going to pick off some of those THAMs as they roll on by. Aura closes in on one of the mexes. A few units of build capacity on reclaim missions aren't going to fare too well, it would seem. And TAC missiles inbound as well, coming straight in to harass Daishu, coming in from Kinky Priest. That's what he was building over here at the corner of the map, giving a little bit of assistance on the build as well to get those missiles pumped out even faster. We do have TMD on the way. That is now complete. However, man of action also going to get hit. One of his core T2 mexes destroyed there. Fortunately, no mass storage on that one for him to worry about. But the TML gets destroyed by a counter-tactical missile, which is coming out there from Soviet Pride. Very nice work indeed. And then he switches it up towards Heaven. T2 mass extract to the target there. No, yeah, I was about to say no zappers in range, but that would be a lie. Zapper takes that out just in time, right before it's about to connect with the target. But I like what I'm seeing here from Aura. I was worried about this flank from Team 2. It seems unnecessarily as he marches forward with his T1 spam and his ACU. Of course, being aggressive doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out well long term. Jolly getting his second T2 PD in place. First working on the commander, but the THAM's getting into range now. Fortunately for Jolly, very few Zuis in the mix, only one or two up front. And a combination of those point defense turrets and his own THAM's going to be enough to deal with that threat. Interestingly enough, he managed to hold on to most of his mexes, although I thought that was T2 actually. It looks like he's upgrading that again, so potentially that might have been destroyed and rebuilt. Mobile missile launchers out there for Brinster. He's got a bunch of Vipers up front and he's slowly hitting at Kinky Priest's forward position, who's withdrawn his ACU incidentally. The Oblivion turret's been destroyed, no doubt by mobile missile fire. And now it looks like he's going to turn his attention to more defensive matters. Wall sections going up in a number of different positions. These engineers in a precarious stance there right at the front. Priest wanting to buy himself a little bit of time to get those defenses in place. He's going to advance forward with his T1 units. Quite a lot of Auroras in play now. Doesn't want to overextend himself. We've got hoplites coming in from Aura. Attack missiles still coming out from Soviet Pride's base. And you can see two of the core mass have been destroyed there for Aura. That third should be okay. Protected now by a TMD. Taking a look at eco-wise shape of things. Cade 240. Team 2's air position is on 70 mass per tick with 2,200 power. Man of action, though, is on 5,000 power, an essential component there for air, and on 78 mass per tick. So not a huge gulf between them on mass, but power, of course, essential for large-scale air production. Definitely an advantage there for Team 1. Most of the action on the field going on at the moment between Brinster and Kinky Priest. So we're going to stay with this engagement for the moment. Hoplites and Vipers jostling back and forwards, trying to pick off those Auroras as they get into range. Certainly wants to think about taking out that radar on the left of the screen there. Target of opportunity if ever I saw one. But Zoc, with quite a sturdy position right next to Kinky Priest's forces there, will limit any ground Brinstar can gain at this moment in time. What have we got here? Let's look like a commander attack missile. No, maybe not. That was a ground-based attack missile coming out from Jolly, who liked what he saw from Soviet Pride and the damage that was being inflicted on his mirror there. So he's going to go ahead and take out the mass on the left-hand side of Aura's base. And that was Heaven's mass extractor that went pop there. So Team 2 under severe attack missile pressure, but look out, a strap bomb inbound as well, coming in there from Man of Action. Not bad for 11 minutes, or just coming into 12. It's going to go straight in towards K240's air production facilities, and he loses a ton of build capacity on that second bomb there. 27 kills on that strap bomber already. I'd be astonished if he doesn't decide to make another pass at that. And K240 has T3 air, but does he have the power to sustain the production? Well, just about. Doesn't have a lot of build capacity on. And another large bomb out there from Man of Action. 54 kills now on that strap bomber, and massive build capacity casualties in around that T3 air factory, which K240 needs to get pumping out ASS very quickly, and another one as well. The air factory is still in good shape, but its ability to produce units quickly is being dramatically reduced by this air assault now from Man of Action. K240's ACU comfortably under shield cover, but it won't make him feel any better right now. Lots of vulnerable mexes about the place, which might be worth going after. A second strat bomber inbound now from Man of Action. The second shield generator online, but still only T2's not in range. Bubble not large enough to throw any protection over those engineers or that air factory. Brinstar surprisingly making headway up here. Hoplites moving forward, causing a few problems for Kinky Priest up front. But now with the emergence of a Transcenter, some T3 anti-air, those strap bombers are going to evac. One of them gets shot down, the other one taken well down into the red. Just 1,000 hit points left for him. These Vipers are doing excellent work. Zoc has tons of zappers online though. Rebel missiles still managing to break through in some respects. Those irritating split missiles that the Cybrans have. And the shield collapses. Target seems to be the shield generator, maybe? Or is it yeah, there it goes. Might have been collateral damage there as it was going after one of the zappers, but either way, that ion reactor's a little bit exposed. He can find a way to take down those zappers in any great number. He could pick off a major coup against Zoc there, but Kinky Priest is going to throw away his Auroras to buy them just a little bit of time. Not a bad decision. Getting to that time now where everyone's building RAS and ARAS on their comms, around that kind of 14 and a half minute mark. Nice little bit of team play going on there. Some mass storage being transferred over to Zoc from Kinky Priest. But Brinstar has a good opportunity to cause some problems here for Zoc, and he's not capitalizing on it. He needs to get those Vipers in play. We do have a whole bunch of even songs coming out now, but they're going to have to jostle backwards and forwards to avoid the hoplites. But still, 15 minutes gone, and a lot of action has taken place so far. Trying to work out if that's a legit score right there from Team 1 or whether that's all pretty much based on Reclaim. Reclaim's figures so far pretty even, 260 to 251 in favor of Team 1. Certainly would seem Team 2 is around the 500 mark and Team 1 perhaps around the 750 mark, maybe. That seems like a large discrepancy. Certainly, considering Team 2 have got Zoc up front, Team 1 doing rather well. Man of Action seems to have an early advantage against his opponent. Having said that, let's take a look at actual ASF numbers on the field now. It might have normalized, so we've got 14 out for K240, and Man of Action sitting on 10, so actually finds himself behind now. Interesting choice going for Cybran. You're watching Man of Action. You could let us know what your decision making was behind that, or whether you're just a Cybran player through and through and you don't play anything else. Which of course is perfectly valid. You like that sort of thing. Forward Loyalist in trying to cause a few problems from Brinstar there. King Priest deals with it, manages to keep those two Serenities in play, and I really do think this was a missed opportunity here. Brinstar had been a little bit more aggressive. Zoc was on a upgrade with his commander there. If he could have taken down a couple of zappers and got in and hit that power plant, that would have been a major drawback there for Team 2. A little bit of performance lag going on there as something explodes, which seems to be every time we get one of these artillery shells landing. It's not the beginning of the end for my rig. Trebuchets and Serenities exchanging fire now. Heaven is going for a little bit of stealth on his ACU down here now, and that took him all of 3.5 seconds. And now he's going to start working on a bug, so experimental gunship on the way there for Team 2. That should be interesting, especially with more or less even air power. Come down to the layout of anti-air on the field. And Aura short stacking on eco, 98 mass the tick there from him, 114 for Brinster. And they really are well below the rest of the field, our two Joes, as you would expect. And a nice little Harbinger drop there from Kinky Priest. It looks like Brinster's about to lose a little bit more mass. T2 Mass Extractor under threat. Down it goes. How long can Priest keep this Harbinger alive? And can he take down any more T2 mexes with Loyalists inbound? Loyalists incredibly quick, of course. You're not going to get it out of there. Try and get down another Mex. It's the only course of action. It's going to be close. Oh, 300 hit points remain, and that Harbinger dies a death. Little run by or a drop over on this side of the map now from Aura, who is doing battle between a T1 PD and an Ilsheva. Ultimately, doesn't go too well. His target was T3 Mass Extractor, but two T1 PDs surrounding that, causing too many problems for him. Wave of scout planes coming out for Zoc, who's been pretty quiet in this game so far. He's looking turtly. Maybe he's just working his way through his second box of pizza. We know how that guy loves to eat his pizza. 50,000 hit points complete on that bug. Aura advances with a couple of T1 units and a couple of Ilshivas trying to pick off a mobile artillery piece. But the Otham in the area has other ideas, takes down those units with the help of the T2 PDs in place. And it really is duel of artillery on this side of the map now. Serenity's out for Kinky Priest, and Daishu and Brinster with static T2s and mobile T3s, those trebuchets, those miasmas counterfiring. Nice little solid bubble there from Daishu, recognizing that his teammate needed a little assistance on that side of the map. It's a pretty nasty looking fortification. He needs to get some T2 PDs in there in case it's assaulted directly, although we're not seeing a large amount of units on the field over on this side of that, and that is why Kinky Priest going instead straight for the GC. First experimental to be completed so far is from Team 2, and the second one looks like it's going to be as well. And that is the bug there from Heaven, completes just a few seconds later. Took your time with that one, notification mod. Now, how much anti-air have we got? Well, that's all point defense. Jolly obviously a little bit concerned about the prospect of some kind of tele-snipe. Outrageous amounts of T1 PD around that comm. Heaven going to focus on him. In come the interceptors, though, from Man of Action, who enables the stealth on board and is going to go straight after. How much damage can they do in one pass? Well, they take it straight down to 40,000 odd HP in the first pass. In come the ASFs now from K240. Is Man of Action going to stick around and try and finish off the experimental? No, instead he's going to work on K240's ASFs and then bug out. In come a couple of Corsairs from Soviet Pride. It's going to get that boy down into the red, 22,500 hit points remaining. And rather than try to repair it or hold on to it, no veterancy on there, no regen to speak of. Heaven's just going to control K it and use the mass, but in comes the GC now from Kinky Priest and rolls straight up to Daishu, who is trying to hide behind the GC over here that he was building, and it's actually working to some extent, but that surely is only temporary. What is going on here? Kinky Priest not managing to get a solution on this commander. See, how is he not hitting him? That GC Rex still in the way. Oh my god, it's gone down. Hit the commander, for God's sake. Daishu finally gets targeted and goes down, but did you ever see more flawless positioning for a moment there? Of course, a bit of a mistake. Still being in the area when that thing came forward. Perhaps a slight scouting error there. Up goes all of Daishu's stuff, which we're thrilled about because I don't have to try and pronounce that name anymore. 1,600 hit points remain on that GC as Brinster comes in now with some loyalists, desperate to try and finish it off. Corsair coming in overhead from Man of Action. While it's taking a long time to die, it's certainly not at risk of killing anything else. Mission critical now is get it as far away from enemy territory as possible to prevent it from being easily reclaimed. Here comes another Corsair, and that will be enough to finish it off. Jolly, The next up to father an experimental, that's going to be an Ethota in amongst the sea, the ghastly sea of green script there. And a second experimental on the field for him, or under construction. An experimental bomber, and now the experimentals are just coming out all over the shop. Zoc building both a megalith and a spider bot, a monkey lord there at the same time, and I missed something else. Someone else can pick one up as well. So they are being churned out now here at the 23.5-minute mark. Not a great deal between these two in terms of mass income, these two teams. 1.2k apiece. 787 on mass reclaimed team-wise against 741. So it's a pretty sizable amount of mass overall, but then spread out amongst all of the different players. Gives no direct team an early advantage. Now, engineers dispatched for Brinster, trying to get that Colossus wreck banked. Kinky Priest has another idea. This was probably the other experimental I missed. A second GC out for him. Rolling in on the front line. Where is that Serenity Shell heading? Is it going after the build capacity? No, it's not. It was going after the Loyalists. The Monkey Lord now in range, going to pick off the engineers. And you can see they were a long way from harvesting that wreck, so still plenty of mass there up for grabs. Another experimental on the field, this time from Aurora. It's an Ethota down there at the bottom left edge of the map. And a Fat Boy online from Soviet Pride out in the center, causing a few headaches for Zoc's megalith as he tries to traverse the craters in the middle. Monkey Lord and GC bearing down on Brinster's base. Brinster has 73.5k done on the megalith. I'd be amazed if he gets to finish that now as the GC breaching the front line of his main base. Brinster has already evac'd his comm, recognizing the danger. That ACU now almost in the center of Man of Action's base, and with Daishu down, Brinster's base about to go down. Things looking spectacularly bad now for Team 1 up at this edge of the map. An attack ping going down from Team 2 on that experimental bomber, but they're too late. That is now online and in the air. The Ethota rolling up from Aura, just getting there a minute too late or so. Still, can he cause some problems on the ground? Another experimental out from Kinky Priest over on this side of things. GC complete number 3, that is for him now. Ethota about to break through the shields. Up here at the top, the Monkey Lord trying to break through and get to Man of Action, but it's taking a lot of Fat Boy fire from Soviet Pride in the center. And that Fat Boy now changing direction, trying to protect Jolly as the Ethota is looking like it could break one of the shields. But annoyed Napalm, the Ethota from Jolly, going to do enough to finish that off. However, Ion Storm still in range of a few structures in that base. Jolly trying to put some pressure on that megalith, but look out, Monkey Lord now in range of the main base. Man of Action is pretty certain it's going to go down. He's not even going to bother moving his commander. He takes the microwave laser for about half a second. That drops him down to 8.5k on the ACU. Jolly was repositioning his experimental bomber there. The Arse Washer trying to get a solution on the Monkey Lord, but it wasn't necessary. Let's see where he goes with it now. And what's interesting about this, it would seem that air superiority, or at least air dominance, definitely with Team 1 right now. So this experimental bomber, if microed well, could get some work done here at the 26.5-minute mark. However, another threat coming in now from Kinky Priest. That is making its way, that GC, towards Man of Action. They've left most of Brinster's base intact, at least for the moment, recognizing that the real threat comes from Man of Action. Wants to try and cripple as much of his base, or even take out the ACU if he can. But would you look at this, experimental bomber now encroaching on K240's main base, almost undamaged, almost without any opposition whatsoever. First bomb impacts on top of that initial T3 factory. The shields collapse, a few units of build capacity go down, but a hover bomb is now on the cards as he tries to go for the main power grid and main air producing factories, and he's gonna get it. Boom, baby! Very, very nice hit indeed, and that is going to really hurt Team 2's air production now. Large explosion goes off, but it's just a support commander up here as Kinky Priest starts detonating SCUs belonging to Soviet Pride there. Now we could have a hover bomb on the card against Kinky Priest. He does manage to get another one away. Look at all that build capacity that's going to go down. 227 kills on that experimental bomber so far. I can't believe it. And it looks like he's going to make it out of there as well. 70 hit points a second now, flying back onto that bad boy with the regen courtesy of all of that veterancy. Kinky Priest dismantling what's left of Brinstar's base. Meanwhile, up here at the top right, Man of Action doing his absolute best to try and slow what is an engineering incursion here, trying to pick up all of the mass in this base that was Brinstar's. Now Kinky Priest trying to bank that. Still a lot of them on the field. Soviet Pride with another experimental on the field. Second Fat Boy. First one still operational, being rolled in now to protect Jolly against Aura. Having some problems with the 1400 so far in this game. Jolly looking very defensive in this game. I'd say having problems, maybe the wrong word, but another bomb out there from the experimental bomber. Now 236 kills on that puppy. Still though, Team 2 with all of their players intact, and a gaping void up here for Team 1. Even with the solid work that Jolly just did with this bomber, still fighting from a position behind that of Team 2. But this could be interesting now. Jolly targeting Aura with the experimental bomber. Soviet Pride bringing his Fat Boys to bear on the front line. All of these mass points, these T3 mexes potentially under threat now. Nothing to speak of in terms of anti-air from Team 2. Zoc has gone mass anti-air, both mobile and static. Would you look at all the Myrmidons he's got on the field. Doesn't want any experimental bombers coming anywhere near him. Thank you very much. 32 Myrmidons in play, and now with a whole bunch of bouncers as well, trying to extend that protection to his teammates. However, the experimental bomber recognizing the threat there. Jolly giving it a wide berth, or is he just going to tackle it head on and try and put a bomb right in the center of them? Where's he going with that one? Or would you look at that? Another couple of kills, or several in fact, and 2 ion reactors down there for Heaven. What's that done to his power grid? Well, it's absolutely annihilated it. 7,000 minus 7,500 net for Heaven. He's going to be spending some time trying to rectify that, so he's been taken down a notch. Jolly doing solid work here to keep his team in it. I like what I'm seeing. K240 well and truly muted after that attack, with hardly anything to show for the air game. Man of Action can continue to press on without too much fear of reprisals. And could we finally be about to see a bit of a lull? Let's hope so, so I can catch my breath. The last 10 minutes have been frantic. Chariot inbound now for Kinky Priest. Going to pick up some mass off the fallen GC at the back there, and of course don't forget there's an experimental megabot there which was under construction, although it's only got a few thousand hit points on it. Probably not going to yield a wreck to actually allow you to get any mass. But look at that tac missile barrage. Where is it headed? Was that a snipe attempt? Well, it looked like it could have been. It was certainly coming from that area. Manages to take down the stealth jet. Jolly needs to think about getting some more TMD online, which is what he's doing, and has produced a second experimental bomber. So happy he was with the first and how it managed. But look out, Heaven finds himself caught out by Jolly's experimental there. The Athota bearing down on it, gets a couple of blasts in, but a quick bit of micro keeps him alive. I cannot believe it, but he's going to lose another 2 ion reactors. So Heaven's still alive with 3.5k-ish on his comm, helped by Zoc and that Monkey Lord, but loses yet more power generators out of it. He's got to be hurting for it now. Check his power grid. Well, he's drastically scaled back his production, so in a slightly better position than he was a moment ago. Another experimental, another Ethota completed there for Aura. That experimental bomber out from Jolly, hanging out over the mountains with a little bit of an escort there from Man of Action, hanging off the edge of it there, just allowing it a bit of room to do its work. Jolly lines it up for an attack. Is he going to go after K240 again? Make sure he stays crippled. It looks like he could be. You have a couple of Redeemers there, but just two of them, not enough to really cause any major difficulties. Hover bomb away on a ground fire mission. There it is. Dropping it short of the shield gen, making sure the AoE inflicts as much damage as possible. Ethotas meet Ethotas in the center. Looks like two of them going to go down there. And then once again, we return to normality. Another bombing run coming in though from the experimental bomber. Kinky Priest well and truly under assault here. Another ground fire in the center. Pretty much destroys all of those factories and P-gens being rebuilt, but nicely placed enough so that it also clips one of the other core mass at the back there, taking it down along with all of the associated buildings next to it. Horde of bouncers brought into range though by Zoc. Brings that Awasar down to around 12-13k. It's going to stop off over the top of Kinky Priest's base again and take down another couple of mexes. Jolly is wrecking Team 2 at the moment from the skies. 81 kills on that experimental bomber now. And it's the only thing holding Team 2 in check. With this much of a power vacuum, they should be running over things right now. And would you look at that, there was another experimental bomber being produced, but Jolly Control K'd it and is now telling his teammates to get in there and reclaim. What are they building? Well, that's why. There's a Scathis on the way, and there's another one down here as well from Zoc. I did see them mention a few things on that a moment ago in chat. So both of these teams now deciding that that is the way to go. Wonder, always a classic map to go for the Scathis. Another TAC missile battery inbound. Or TAC missile barrage. That's going to pick off one of the support commanders despite a large bank of TMD. Still couldn't save him. That's how many TAC missile launchers we're talking down here from Aura. But I like what Jolly did there. He lost the Awasar, but managed to guide it in such a way that it lands in pretty safe territory. He'll be able to scoop that mass back up, I would imagine, for sure. 33 minutes gone in this one so far. And that's got to be reclaimed base, so we can't look at the figures right now. They're massively distorted because of all of the reclaim flying back in from all the experimental wrecks that are littered about the place. And there's still quite a lot of mass to be picked up around here. Brinstar wasn't killed off, of course. His base was destroyed, but his ACU survived, made it to safer territory over here. Now under Man of Action's shield coverage, sending out build capacity to try and retake what is rightfully his. So still, only Deishu taken out so far. 33 minutes gone in this one. And yet the amount of combat that's gone on has been pretty phenomenal. Very fast-paced game. Well, we are getting a critical mass of build-up of experimentals now in Zoc's base. And Heaven handing over control launch detected of GCs to Zoc. And damn, that was loud. Soviet Pride launches a nuke. And the question is, where's it going? Well, it's going right after Aura. Aura's moving his commander, thinks it might be him. I'm guessing that's because he doesn't have any strategic missile defense, and he certainly doesn't. That missile now descending is going to be very close whether or not Aura gets outside the blast radius, and no, he doesn't. Aura evicted from the game at 34.5 minutes, along with his base. Down he goes with that beautiful UEF nuke. That shockwave, man. Thing of beauty. That's what sold me on Sopcom, that UEF shockwave from the nuke. First time I saw that, I knew what love was. And is that, what do we got here? So we've got our bank of Gunthers going forward. And look at that. We've got a Continental bringing a support commander in from Man of Action. Going to go in and try and get his share of the Rex. Needs to be careful to avoid as much of that Ion Storm as possible. I like what Jolly's doing here, bringing in another Ithota right now, anticipating the expansion from Heaven. Get in there and pick off all of these T3 engineers. And carries on pushing. Might be able to kill off a bouncer or two, but instead is going to move in towards Heaven's base. And it's going to run straight into two GCs belonging to Zoc. And they're going to kill it with fire from their face, because that's how GCs roll. And a lot of Cerberus turret fire as well. The Needles of Doom, or the Needles of... not quite that scary. But the Scathis has been completed now for Team 2. The Scath is not yet completed for Team 1, so Zoc under fire now. We'll take a look at what they can see and what they know is there. Well, they might not have actually seen the Scath is under construction for Soviet Pride yet, and that could be a blessing. They can get it online and counter Zoc Scathis. They could grab the upper hand here. It's all going to come down to who Scathis is destroyed first. Of course, there's plenty of times in Scathis battles they kill each other off or take down one of the others to such a point as where one or two strap bombers can do the rest. Arms extend. Team 1 completes their Scathis, but the shells seem to be landing further forward now, and there's an attack ping on the ground there. Zoc has spotted the Scathis and has redirected his fire. So we're going to keep an eye on the Scathis exchange. It's going to take a while for them to chew through the shield, so we're going to take our last look around the field to see if there's anything going on of note. We've got a bug actually out for Brinster. I don't know whether that was donated or whether he built that. Look how awful that looks. Not just because it's all green, but because they're all happy. Like sitting in an REM song from the 80s. Truly unbearable. And now the Scathis shells landing on the shield coverage around Zoc's own Scathis. Heaven helping with the shield coverage. As a second one online back here as well. I can't believe it. So they got that up pretty damn quickly. Zoc saw it before I did. But he is going to be successful in killing off the first one. Another support commander goes pop. So many experimentals on the field now. Zoc rolling forward with a couple of GCs and a Megalith going after Jolly's Ithota. A couple of Fat Boys out to the west, harassing these units as they come forward. He's going to need to move that back now that the Ithota from Jolly has died off. There is actually another Ithota in the area and a Monkey Lord coming in, so maybe I spoke too soon. Second Scathis online and unloading. Is he in range of Zoc Scathis? Well, yes, it would seem so. Shells raining down. And interesting enough, there's an SMD there that's badly damaged. Is that the only one? No, Zoc is never that careless. Another one further forward with 2 missiles loaded and ready to go. But there's a lot of experimentals moving northwesterly on this game right now. 3 GCs from Kinky Priest rolling up through the center, running into quite heavy resistance from smatterings of Ravagers in the center from Soviet Pride, but this is certainly going to hurt as Man of Action brings in a bunch of strap bombers. K240 has his factories back up online and quite a few ASFs now on the field. He's going to bring him in, but actually the main air threat from Team 2 is from Kinky Priest, who is retrained, recognizing that K240 has been unable to get back on top of the air game. However, Kinky Priest is going to lose almost all of them to all of these flayers that are spread out across the center. And the strap bombers are allowed to be brought back in to work on the GCs. However, they are bearing on down now towards the main base, and Soviet Pride very far forward indeed. He needs to get the hell out of there. In fact, I'd be asking for a Continental from Man of Action to evac my comm at this point. As the GCs unload on the shield, Soviet Pride continuing to retreat. He has got the personal shield gen, which is affording him an extra 24,000 hit points. The Scathis is making a run for it, gets a rank of veterancy there as it escapes or tries to, but alas, it's not enough. And these GCs now bearing down on the ACUs. Man of Action sitting in his base. He knows that if it can get him in the center, it's over anyway. One of the GCs is destroyed. Even the Continentals are brought out to try and kill off the experimental. It gets another rank of veterancy, bringing him back up above 50,000 HP. Both these GCs still in the yellow, both bearing down on Man of Action. They unload on the commander, who is eviscerated. And Team 1 lose their air player and look like they very soon could lose Soviet Pride as well. And the GGs go out from Jolly and from just about everyone. These guys have been around long enough to know when a game is more than likely over. And down he goes. And was that a Control K at the back? It looks like it was. In fact, it looked like the air crash as well. So who is that that's gone down? Is that Brinster? Yes, it is. So Brinster had his comm, I guess, on board a Continental. It either got shot down or he Control K'd it. And Soviet Pride running for the hills. Control K's his as well. And there goes Team 1 at the 40-minute mark. Well, it's not the longest team game we've ever had, but you can't say a lot didn't happen. My goodness me, I'm absolutely destroyed after that. My voice box feels like it's going to fall out of my anus. Well, incredibly entertaining game, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. As always, more to come from me in the future. But in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.